Hi, and welcome to our video on a visit to Jodrell Bank in Cheshire. Jodrell Bank is set in the northwest of England in the peaceful Cheshire countryside. Jodrell Bank is close to the cities of Manchester, Liverpool, and nearby are Sheffield and Leeds, as well as our base, the fabulous city of Chester. I'll supply the address and postcode in the description below, along with a what 3 words location to the entrance. At Jodrell Bank you'll find the First Light Pavilion, Star Pavilion, Space Pavilion, the Planet Pavilion, and of course the giant Lovell Telescope. There is also an arboretum, and numerous events are held over the course of the year. So without further ado, let's explore, and our first stop will be the First Light Pavilion, and in the interest of transparency, our visit was gifted to us by Visit Chester and Cheshire. There will be a link in the description below to the Jodrell Bank site so you can check out the current admission prices. The First Light Pavilion is a relatively new experience, having opened on the summer solstice on June 21st, 2022. The 76-metre grass-topped dome mirrors the shape and size of the Lovell Telescope. At the entrance of the pavilion, a narrow vertical window has been cut through the dome, which aligns with the sun via a meridian line. Facing due south, the sun shines through the slim window and casts a ray of light across the foyer, acting as a sundial. The first thing that strikes me is that this is a very modern visitor experience, fully immersive, including an ambient soundtrack. And there's a time-lapse of that meridian window. I don't want to include too much of the wonderful material the designers of this experience have created, but give you a feel of what a visit is like. Another thing that is apparent is that the story being told appeals to young and old, and all ages in between. And that story, well, it covers the school years of St Bernard Lovell, his difficulties and his inspiration. As an academic of Manchester University, scrounging war surplus with his colleagues to build their radio telescope, the near-failed attempt at constructing the Lovell Telescope, which was given a surprising help with the launch of the Russian Sputnik satellite, with Jodrell Bank's Mark I radio telescope being the only facility on the planet able to track its orbit. But it's not all tales of the past leading up to the completion of the Lovell Telescope in 1957. It'll walk you through how a radio telescope works and how it sees into distant worlds, all through interactive touchscreen panels, and as a child who loved the Science Museum, this was my geeky heaven. Janice, with her interest in astronomy, was also loving the experience. I love the attention to detail. The metal sections that are being projected onto were fashioned from the skin of the 1957 Lovell Telescope. The telescope dish was being replaced, and it was a unique opportunity to recycle that historical material. Once again, the big kid in me came out. Where else could you get a chance to steer the giant Lovell Telescope? Right here! Time for a little confession. We were heading home after our visit to Jodrell Bank, and that meant a 200-mile plus drive south and taking on the M25 motorway during the rush hour, which means we perhaps didn't spend as long here as we would have wanted. Still, our visit lasted over 3 hours. My point is, I think you need to spend a few hours to really enjoy Jodrell Bank. So we made our way out of the exhibition space and taking a look at the great man, Sir Bernard Lovell OBE. He passed away on the 6th of August 2012, aged 98, at his home less than 3 miles away from Jodrell Bank. Including your ticket price is a 15-minute film in the 130-seat Space Dome Auditorium titled The Story of Jodrell Bank. It's well worth watching. There are other presentations throughout the day available at a small charge. I should also mention with the First Light Pavilion is the First Light Cafe, so if you need refreshment, it's there. Now let's head towards the Lovell Telescope. I really hope you like what we put together here on our visit to Jodrell Bank. If you have, we'd appreciate a like. And if you enjoy our style of video, then why not subscribe? There will always be more from our adventures near and far. Oh, I forgot to mention that Jodrell Bank is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was added in 2019 and is recognised as having outstanding universal value. As we close in on the Lovell Telescope, it's worth mentioning that Jodrell Bank Observatory is home to so much more. There are many other radio telescopes on site, and it's part of the Merlin network. That stands for the Multi-Element Radio Linked Interferometer Network. But the Lovell Telescope is the cool one, right? After taking time to explore it from every angle, it's time to head into the Space Pavilion. Now, it may not be as swanky as the First Light Pavilion, but it's still fun, interactive and educational. It's here you can see a live data stream from the Lovell Telescope and print out your own copy. I also make a rare appearance in infrared form. Another thing I should have mentioned, on arrival you're asked to put your mobile cell phones into airplane mode, as their signals can interfere with the radio telescope array. Now, you never know who you're going to bump into. Imagine our surprise when it's Dara Ó Briain filming a segment for his Channel 5 documentary Wonders of the Moon. We really run out of time to take a look at the Star Pavilion and the Planet Pavilion. We loved our visit to the Jodrell Bank Observatory, and we hope you will too. It's now an opportune moment to thank you for watching and wish you happy and safe travels.